to Corrections Mama 27 channel. I'm going to call this It's Personal. I'm going to share with everybody to give you a greater understanding of who I am, how I've grown, and how I've grown in the Department of Corrections. I decided to do this video outside because it's a beautiful day out, the sun is out, we've had a lot of rain lately, and I really feel like I wanted to open up and share a little more personal things other than just stories with the prison, with the people that have been following me and that are supporting me. And I just want everybody to know that is following me and that supports me and that watches my videos, that I think a lot about what I should share next, what stories you might find interesting. I really think about it all the time, and I also think about it not just because of the channel, but I think about it all the time. Well, the channel brings things up, brings back memories and things like that, but I also, most people that do law enforcement, or it's kind of like a little bit, I don't want to compare it to being a soldier or in war because I really don't know what that's like. I would imagine it's worse, like killing people and, shooting people and stuff. I never had to do that, but I have had to see things that cannot be unseen. And it is traumatic, and it changes you as a person. And I just want to reach out to people and let everybody know that a lot of negative things happen to us. We see negative things. We're hurt by things. And we have a choice to make those things make us stronger and make us better, or if we want to succumb to depression and anxiety for it. Definitely that job, if I'm squinting my eyes, is because I'm kind of facing the sun because of the light, and the wind is blowing this way, and I want my hair in my face. But I just want you to know that it can make you stronger, and I knew this was going to be a very difficult job when I decided to do it. And I prayed to God that it wouldn't break me. I prayed to God that He would help these experiences make me stronger. Because at the time I felt very weak. I didn't feel like I had a lot of self-confidence. And I really felt like there were things going on around me that I was completely oblivious to and unaware of, including in my own relationships. I was really unable to identify when people were lying to me, particularly my husband, and also other people just in passing and through my life, and in relationships. It was very hard for me to determine that people were lying because I really couldn't get past the fact that I just didn't understand why people would lie to you. Why lie? Why would people lie to me? But it's because they have their own agenda, and it was hard for me to accept that people that I loved so much would hurt me in such a way. And I wanted God to reveal to me the evils of the world and the way things really are. And I wanted to see the good too. And I've seen the good and the bad in the prison. Of course, I do talk about a lot of the bad experiences because that's really what kind of people remember, and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the negative and the unbelievable, and that's just what people want to hear. So that's what we talk about. But I just want people to know that are struggling out there, that are having a difficult time. I really want you to understand that don't let it break you. Whatever is happening to you, whatever difficulty you're facing, don't let it break you. Let it make you stronger. Let it make you wiser. Let it make you smarter. Let it do all of the things because that's how God makes us into better people. Is He truly turns, to the silver lining. There's a silver lining in everything. Trust me, a lot of bad things have happened to me in the past, and I'm not really gonna get into all of that, but I made sure that I walked through those gates, and I walked in my life as much as I could with God. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't make mistakes. I did make mistakes. There were times I was disciplined for things that I did. That wasn't malicious towards inmates or anything. It was usually, if I worked graveyards, I might have fallen asleep, or I made mistakes, or maybe it wasn't a mistake in my mind and administration didn't think that I did the right thing. So, and sometimes they disciplined me over stuff that wasn't even legitimate, and it was because they didn't like me. They didn't like the way I did things. But there were people that did like me, and there were people that did respect me, because I did have a standard. I did have a moral compass. I did do what I thought was right, and I stood for something. I didn't just sit back and let everything go and let shit hit the fan. I stood back. I did not do that. I stood up, and I defended people, and I advised people. Listen, most people that don't have skin in the game, they're not going to get involved in your bullshit. They're not going to protect you. They're not going to stand up for you. They may quietly take you to the side and give you a little bit of advice, but they're not going to help you fight through the fight. The fight is your fight, and you need to take responsibility for that and fight for it. I had lots of people that wouldn't even do an information report that were witnesses, and they were like, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to tell anybody that I saw that. I don't want to get involved, because then they're going to look at me, and then I might get dragged into it, or I might have to do this much. I might have to do a little bit extra work that I normally wouldn't have to do. This bothered me the most, because people that I've helped in the past, people that I said, yeah, I'm doing an IR too. I'm going to tell them I saw what happened, and that's not right. And I would stand up for them, and I would show them how to use the grievance system, and I would show them how to beat their own disciplinary case that really wasn't fair. I saw the unfairness in the system, and I worked and tried hard to help other people overcome that and fight for it. Turns out some people always don't want to fight for themselves. They want you to fight the fight. And I don't mind standing behind them, or standing with them and encouraging them, or holding their hand through it. But if you're not going to fight your own fight, then I guess it ain't worth it to you, huh? So I found that in the grievance system. They would drop their case before they got to around the time usually they would get to talk to the warden, or maybe they would go to the major. They would drop the case altogether and not show up. And here I am standing there, not getting paid a wage to be there and help them. There I am at them, standing and waiting for them to show up at the meeting, for them to fight their case and argue their point. And usually it wasn't nearly as hard as they thought it would be. All you do is go say, look, I disagree with this, and this is why. And then they would sign off and say, go to the next step. Most of them did that because they didn't want to be the ones to dismiss it. But sometimes, on occasion, they would dismiss it and say, you're right. And then it would be overturned. But I think most of them were instructed, if they're under the warden, they shouldn't overturn it. And after you go to the warden, you would go to the director and stuff like that. People were frightened and scared of that, and for whatever reason, they would drop it and just leave it in my lap. And honestly, if they're not there to fight it, then it gets dropped anyway. And so I just felt like, what the hey? Why am I here for this person that only show up and they're wasting my time? But I used to get upset about it, but honestly, It was a fight, and it was their fight that they didn't feel like taking up a sword for. And I was willing to take up a sword for other people that I thought was legit, that I felt like they were really getting stomped on or walked on, and it wasn't right what the department was doing. And I've always kind of been like that in a way. I've always been a fighter because I've been a victim. I've been a victim in the past, and I decided I didn't like those shoes. And that I wasn't going to be a victim anymore, and that I was going to fight not only for me, but for others that needed a little help or encouragement even. And so that's just what I felt I was supposed to do, and that's what I did. But I want you to know that people that are in law enforcement, people that are in the Department of Corrections, people that are in the military, people that have gone through very difficult things, which is a lot of us, I guess, we suffered from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So a lot of times, like when I first started in the Department of Corrections in Texas, it was very difficult adjustment when I first started. I had night terrors all night. I didn't sleep good. I would thrash around in my bed, is what my husband would tell me. He said I would yell in my bed. I would yell in my sleep. I would sometimes cuss and stuff. Then I really didn't curse a lot. I started cursing more in my career in Arizona. But he said I would yell and curse and whatever. And I knew in my head those incidents that I was dreaming about, that was going on in my mind, were things that I wanted to say to the inmates that were acting out things, but I didn't say, you know. And so because I was suppressing all of that, it would come out in my sleep. And I was also adjusting to having a very serious job. I was adjusting to being in a very violent and negative environment. And the adjustment was really hard. And it took my mind in all kinds of places that it's never been before. And so I really worked hard at sticking with it and not giving up, because I didn't want to let them win. I wanted to be there and to learn what I could learn. And I didn't know how long I was going to keep that job. I had no idea. I never imagined I would do this for 27 years. Like, I didn't even think that far ahead, honestly. I was just like, well, we'll see how it goes, right? So, I just want to let you know, like, I'm really a country girl at heart. I grew up in Arizona, in Scottsdale, where it was country. There was nothing out there then when I grew up out there. Now it's a big city. When I grew up out there, it was basically horse ranches, cattle ranches, and there were some small, very small communities that had 1 acre parcels. And 1 acre is not that much, but to me as a kid, it was a lot. And we had cows. We raised our own meat. We had chickens. We had dogs. We had ferrets that we bred and sold. We had turtles, cats. We had a lot. And growing up in nature and with animals, we had goats. We had all kinds of things coming in and out and growing up. And that kind of made me, I felt an outdoorsy person, and I felt like I was a little bit tough, I guess, but I really wasn't. I was just a big softy, with a bunch of goo inside that just didn't understand the world and didn't understand why things would happen and why people would do things they would do. And I would trust everybody and everything. So just, and that's how I've kind of always tried to live. And now I have some property. I'm sitting here on my tractor. It's a small tractor, it's not a big one. But when I'm out here on the tractor, there's something about it that makes me able to think and relax and think about things. And I was thinking about what brought me here. And I was also kind of having some flashbacks of different things that have happened in the prison. And how all of that came about. But I just want to encourage people and let you know that you're stronger than you think you are. You don't know what you're capable of. Honestly, we don't know what we're capable. I had no idea what I was capable of. We don't know what we're capable of until we try. And that job was what was there at the time and was the only job I felt that was really available. And I really wanted a job. I really was not sure that I could do that job, but my friend encouraged me. She encouraged me and told me, you can do it. It's not as hard or bad as you think it is. You can do it. And I was like, yeah, you're telling me I can do it, but you don't know. Like, you're a strong woman. Look at you, Chris. You're so strong. You have been in the military and you've been through a lot. Like, I don't know that she ever went to war or not. I don't think she did. Like, she never went to Iraq or anything. I'm not sure what her military career. But to me, like, a female in the military, man, you're a strong woman. You are tough. You know what I mean? Especially if you get through boot camp and you get through all this other stuff. But you know what? Sometimes we feel like we only have certain options, and you look at that option and think, God, I can't do it. I can't do that. Are you kidding me? And we laugh at ourselves like, you can't do that. That's never gonna happen, right? You're just a weak person and you'll never survive that, right? Don't tell yourself that. Don't talk to yourself that way. God knows what we're capable of. We have no idea what we're even capable of. None, until we try. And I tried, and I stuck with it in the end because I wanted, trust me, I wanted to quit many a time. But I wanted a pension. I wanted a future. I didn't want to work until I was dead. Turns out the pension is not really enough to keep you afloat, to keep you going. You need a job. So that's what I'm doing. And, you know, I don't mind doing YouTube. I actually enjoy it, and I kind of find it therapeutic in a way to express and talk about these stories. It affected me in so many ways. Like, I couldn't relate to my husband anymore because he didn't understand what I did. He didn't like what I did because it was turning on him. I was seeing that he was lying to me about things. I could catch him in lies. It was making me wiser. It was making me smarter. It was making me much more street smart. And yeah, so things went south there because he was a big liar. He lied about a whole lot of stuff. And I got tired of that. I felt disrespected. And we ended up splitting up. And my husband now, he does what I do. We didn't meet at work. We met through a blind date through a mutual friend. And it was so easy to talk to him. And he was a listener. So he's not a big talker, but he would always listen. And it was easy to explain to him what happened at work today. And a lot of people, you can't really, like, I couldn't talk to my mom or my brother or my sister or anybody really about what kind of things would go on at work or things that would happen. Because one, they would be like totally appalled. Two, they were like, quit your job today. And they really just didn't understand, you know, what was in it and what was going on. So when I had a partner that I could talk to, that I could share, and he would share his goings on with me as well. And it was just really great. And he made me feel so comfortable, and he made me feel safe, and he made me feel understood. So we ended up living together for a long time, for like 8 years, and then, we got married. Because at that point, I figured, well, what can go wrong at this point? We've been together so long, right? Like, of course it's going to work, because I really didn't want to get divorced again. So it's really awesome. And I just want to encourage people to know that you don't know what you can do. We can do just about anything we put our minds to. It's a big world out there, and there is so much to experience. And there's a lot of difficult experiences that I had, but I try not to let it affect me in such a bad way where it messes me up in my head or my heart. And then I don't believe in people anymore. And that was one thing that I really had to work at. Because when you're in a negative environment like that every day, all the time, you begin to feel like, are there any good people left? Are there any people with good intentions? Are there really good people out there anymore? Like, I feel like the whole world around me is evil and everybody is bad, and I'm suspicious of everybody and everything. And you have to let that go and trust in God and discern what is right and what is wrong and who is good for you and who is not good for you. And so that's what I've been doing over the years. And I don't want this channel to discourage people. I want people to understand that, we're capable of far more than we ever imagined. I could have never imagined I would have become a correctional officer. My family were blown away. They couldn't believe that I was doing what I was doing, because as a kid and as a young woman, I was very quiet and I was very, very naive. And they really didn't feel like I knew how the world really worked. But hey, this was a huge lesson in hard knocks. Like, it made me grow in so many ways. It made me understand my own emotions and anger and frustration towards other people. And it also helped me understand humanity. And at the end of the day, we're all human. And we all do crazy stuff, and we do things that doesn't make sense to other people. I think the biggest mistake people make is by allowing negative, and I think this is oftentimes what happens to people in prison. They let the negative things in the world and the abuses and, the bad things happen in the world. They don't let those lessons be teaching you. Those bad things that happen, no matter how bad it is, whether it's, rape or being neglected or mistreated as a child or ignored or abused. Like, there's a lot of wicked things in the world, but God has blessed us to allow us to give a silver lining to everything. What's that silver lining? It's the lesson. It's the lesson that you learn and the strength that comes back from that. The fact that you survived that difficult thing is actually speaks to your strength. It's sink or swim sometimes, isn't it? So we really become stronger. And I think sometimes people in prison, instead of becoming a stronger, better person, and in spite of those bad experiences, instead of saying, I'm not going to ever be like that, I'm not going to let that turn me to a bad person or make me do bad things, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to treat people the way I wish I was treated. And you need to turn that around into a positive. That's what God does. We have to let him do that. We have to let him turn negative experiences and negative things into growth and into positive experiences. Because that is, in the end, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We're here to grow. Nobody gets out of this life without a broken bone, without a broken heart, without scrapes on your body. You don't get in a motorcycle accident and survive without injury. We all get injuries to our hearts and to our souls, and physical injuries too. And we just need to overcome that and get better and stronger and learn from it. And then take that into the next days. And sometimes it's just baby steps, especially when you've been traumatized. It's just baby steps. You just keep going from one day to the next, one day to the next. And you keep going, and then before you know it, your strength is back, and you were stronger than you were in the beginning. And that's what life is about, I think. That's what life is about for me. So if I would have let things in life that had happened to me, that had struck me down, that had tripped me up, life is full of pitfalls. Life is full of trauma and tragedy and traumatic things that happen to us. It's how we internalize it and how we process it and how we come out of it at the end. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't let that pin light, you don't want it to close up when you're in a place of darkness. You want to start opening that up. Opening it up and bigger, and then you start seeing the world. Then you start seeing the possibilities. So when you're depressed and you feel like you're in a dark closet, there's always a little bit of light somewhere. You got to find that light and just pull it open. Be positive and keep pulling that open and asking God to help you with that. And just move it open until you can see all that is there for you. And trust me, we'll never know what life has to offer us until we get out of that dark place. We've all been in a dark place at one time or another. We just need to be strong enough to walk through it. And if you don't feel like you're strong enough, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask somebody who you love to help you, or for God to help you. And you can move through it. So, anyway, I just love nature. I really didn't feel like doing much today. But I decided I should come out in the tractor at least and be out in the beautiful weather and get some work done out here. Maybe work on a couple of my projects. And as I was out here, I was just thinking about all of these things, and I just wanted to share it with you. So this is a personal video, and a thank you to all of my friends and family that have supported me, and a thank you to my viewers and my subscribers. Please subscribe, because yeah, I can't live on this pension for sure. So I'm currently looking for work, but I'm hoping that this channel can reach out to people, and not only can it help people, but it can also help me financially too if I eventually get enough people, followers, to be monetized. So I just want everybody to know that I'm thinking about you every day, and I appreciate every day that you watch my videos and that you follow. And I hope that I am doing some good, and then that you all are entertained by some of these stories. Now that I can tell them from an entertainment type of perspective. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody, and I'll end the video here. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it, and make your comments and ask your questions, because sometimes questions lead to more videos. I don't know what everyone is thinking out there, and certain videos that actually are my top rating videos surprise me that they're simple videos. It seems like a simple thing, but it's really what people are interested in, which is interesting. So let me know what you're interested in. Let me know what you want to hear about, and I'll try to get to them and do a video. I'll eventually do a video that will cover some of that. Thank you very much. Bye.